Welcome to this Yoga for Strength practice. This class is aimed to all levels, but is specially focused for those that are just starting out and for those that want to go back to basics. We're going to work on developing strength on our arms, on our legs, and on our core so you can feel strong in any yoga class. If you have blocks or books with you, that would be great, but don't worry too much about it. You can also practice only with a mat or directly on the floor. So we're going to start directly on our child's pose, separating the knees from one another, allowing the forehead to drop down to the floor, arms forward, and start just by breathing through the belly and through the nose. Observe the natural movement of your breath. Try to connect with your body. Start feeling your presence in this space, in this moment. Try to feel present. And prepare mentally for your practice. Slowly, we're going to come into our tabletop position, so hands and knees on the floor. We'll begin by doing a little bit of warm-up on the wrists. Start with the fingers facing out to the sides, hands relatively close to one another with a gentle gap in between them, and we're going to start moving in circles. First moving clockwise, making sure we're doing wide circles. Try see if you can keep your arms extended. So try not to bend your elbows. And make sure you breathe slowly as you move. You move widely and you move with control. Slowly switch directions, go to the other side. Great, slowly come to center, send the fingers facing back to the knees. And we're going to start leaning back. A good option is to start bringing the knees a little bit closer to your hands. That's going to give you more space for you to drop the sitting bones down a little easier. If you send the knees farther away from the hands, then it will be more intense. It's going to be more difficult. You can send one hand to the floor as you lift the other, moving one by one, or if you prefer, you can just push both hands at the same time. You can release and press, or you can just hold. Do here whatever of the options that feels more comfortable, that feels is helping you open more, is helping you warm up the best for you. Slowly release, interlace the fingers, and start moving the hands in circles, super wide movements. Try not to be too fast nor too slow, just a nice space for you to feel the movement move to the other direction. Great, slowly shake the hands a little bit. Perfect. And when you're ready, we're going to bring both hands to the floor. Come back to your tabletop position, so knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to start using our fingers. So I really want you to press with the fingers onto the floor as if you wanted to grab the floor. Flex your feet and start kicking the heels back just enough so the knees hover off the floor, so they lift about 1 or 2 centimeters, 1 or 2 inches. We push, and notice that my hips are not high here, okay? I'm very, very low, looking at my knees, knowing that my knees are about just 1 or 2 centimeters or 1 or 2 inches off the ground. Engage the glutes, engage the core, push onto the floor through the arms, and try to lift the upper back. Start already to feel the heat building in your body, the tiredness coming already. Make sure your breath is slow, is deep, and try to make sure you're breathing through the nose. So try to avoid mouth breathing here. Good, slowly drop the knees. Sit down on the heels, shake the hands a little bit. First we want to start noticing, to start understanding that already when you're kicking the heels, the legs starting to build some heat, some strength, the core needs to engage to be more stable, the arms are already starting to engage, the whole body starts building that engagement, that heat. Good, let's go in again with a little extra. Okay, so slowly flex the feet again, tabletop. Kick the heels enough so the knees hover off the floor. Push onto the ground through the arms, lift the upper back. Knees are very, very close to the floor. They are just slightly lifted. And from here, see if you can lift the right foot off the floor, keeping both knees parallel. Good. Keep pushing strongly through the arms. Keep the knees in the same line. Core strong, arms strong. Great. Drop the foot, drop the knees, and sit back. Shake the hands if you need to. Maybe interlace the fingers and move gently to one side to the other. Great. Perfect. And we move on to the second side. Exactly the same thing. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We kick the heels enough. We're hovering the knees off the floor. And now we're trying to lift the left foot off the floor, keeping both knees parallel. Pushing through the arms, looking down to the knees to make sure they don't move from that position. Deep and slow breaths. Great, slowly drop the foot, drop the knees, and sit back. Take a moment here. Breathe. If you feel any discomfort on your wrists at any point, feel free to take a rest. Feel free to move the hands a little bit, or otherwise just stay still. Great. Perfect. I'm going to start moving into a very important action in our yoga practice, which is protraction and retraction. Protraction means when we're pushing onto the floor through the arms and we're lifting the upper back. So when the shoulders, in this case, are going farther down. Okay, retraction is the opposite action. So when we're bringing the shoulder blades to one another, so when we're shrinking in this case. Okay, so protraction when we push, retraction when we pull. Okay, we're going to try to work on this action for a few repetitions, and then we'll start moving on into one of the most important postures in our strength practice in yoga, which is our Chaturanga. So we'll start first with this. Make sure again you're grabbing the floor, so fingers are pushing down. We take a deep inhale from our tabletop and we push to lift up the upper back into a protraction. On the exhale, shrink down, retraction. Make sure the elbows are always extended, so you're not bending, always straight. Inhale, push to lift. Exhale, shrink, retract. Inhale, push, protract. Exhale, retract. Good. Inhale, push, protract. Exhale, retract. Let's do two more. Inhale, push. Exhale, retract. Great, last one, inhale, push. Exhale, retract. Perfect. Slowly, when you're ready, sit back onto the heels. Move the shoulders a little bit in circles to release from any tension you may feel right now. Make sure you're moving into both directions in the circles. Great. And we'll try to step up a notch, okay? Coming onto the forearms, sending both forearms onto the floor. We can either grab the hands, maybe place the hands in Namaste or hands on the floor separated. I like it this way. Okay, I feel I can recruit more strength. We're gonna send the knees back. Okay, option one, you can do it like this. Make sure the glutes, the hips are not high. Okay, you're engaging through the core and you're sending the pelvis forward. Okay, you're posterior tilting the pelvis, and we're sending the shoulders so they are right on top of the elbows, not farther, not back. Okay, right on top of the elbows. And then we'll start by pushing on the inhale, protraction. Exhaling, shrinking, retraction. Notice that I'm not leaning back and forth. I'm just pushing, lifting the upper back. And on the exhale, I'm retracting, so I'm shrinking down. If this feels okay with the knees on the floor, making sure the knees are farther back than the hips, then we can flex the feet and kick the heels. This will be harder. Make sure your glutes are not high again. You engage. It's good if you're looking yourself in the mirror or you take a picture of yourself. That's going to help you know if you're in good position or not. And we'll work on 10 reps. Okay, so inhale, push, protract. Exhale, retract. Great, inhale, push, protract. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Beautiful, exhale. Inhale, 4. Exhale. Inhale, 5. Exhale. Almost there, inhale, 6. Exhale. Inhale, 7. Exhale. Inhale, 8. Exhale. If you're tired, knees on the floor, inhale, 9. Exhale. Last one, inhale, 10. Exhale. Great, knees down and sit back onto your heels. Beautiful. Slowly move the shoulders to one direction, to the other. When doing this exercise, everything will work. Your core will need to be engaged. Your core will need to be engaged. Your glutes will engage. Your legs will engage. Your shoulders will engage. Everything. And when I'm talking about the core, it's not just the abdomen, but the core is all throughout your torso. So your abdomen, your side abdomen, your back body, everything will engage. And all of that is part of the core. So we're going to start moving into our Chaturanga, okay? And for this, if you have blocks, we will be using them to make sure we make it a little easier for ourselves if we need to, and at the same time, so we understand the proper height for us to get into Chaturanga. Okay, what tends to happen in Chaturanga is that we normally shrink down, the shoulders too low, the elbows go back, and that way it's going to be uncomfortable for the elbows, and at the same time it's not going to help us get the most out of the pose and using the strength properly. Okay, so for this, if you have blocks with you, we're going to grab them and we're going to place them a little bit forward. Okay, we're going to make sure the blocks are about shoulder width apart. We're going to place the hands onto the floor, knees are on the floor for now, and we're going to try to move into a Chaturanga arm, so bending the elbows 90 degrees. Notice that I'm not sending the elbows back, but I'm actually leaning forward more with my shoulders as my elbows bend. When I'm reaching with my shoulders down to the blocks, if you have blocks with you, notice that more or less you have about a 90-degree angle in between the shoulders, the elbow, and the hand. So that here on the elbow, there's more or less a 90-degree happening. Okay, this is a good angle for Chaturanga. Okay, not higher, not too much lower. About 90 degree is the best. So again, if you don't have blocks, it's okay. We will try to get the same idea, moving more or less towards a 90 degree angle, okay? But if you have them with you, then we will use them. It's going to be easier, and also it's going to teach you how to get into the position, and by doing it many times, you'll build muscle memory. So making sure, again, the glutes are engaged and the core is engaged. You don't want to stick the bum out like this. You want to engage and posture till the pelvis, so sending the pelvis forward as you engage the glutes and core, okay? That way, it's gonna keep this area locked, which will help you when moving into Chaturanga to make it with more ease, but at the same time to make it properly. So we're gonna send the hands. Notice that my hands are about 1 palm or slightly farther than 1 palm away from the blocks. My hands are slightly outside of the blocks, okay? Bending my knees, making sure my knees are slightly behind my hips. I'm leaning forward and I'm bending my elbows, my shoulders touch. If you feel it's too close, send the hands farther back. If you think it's too far, maybe hands a little bit farther forward. So we take a deep inhale into a plank. We can keep the knees to the floor. Exhale. Chaturanga. Good. Rather than collapsing here, just try to stay strong. On the next inhale, push back up. And let's repeat. Exhale. Chaturanga. Keep the core and the glutes engaged. Inhale back to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale back to plank. Good. Exhale, Chaturanga. Last one. Inhale, plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Good. Inhale, come back. And sit back. If you feel the push is not happening yet, then just try to go low and then go back, prepare, then we just focus on the dropping instead of on the pushing, if it's very, very hard for you, okay? Nice. We're gonna repeat this one more time. You have the choice to either do it again with the blocks, maybe without the blocks, and if you feel very comfortable, we're going to do it from a full plank into a full Chaturanga without the knees on the floor. Okay, so full extension of the legs. In my case, I'll show you the full variation, okay, without the blocks, but again, feel free to use blocks if you need to. Feel free to keep the knees on the floor if you need to. Okay, so when you're ready, starting in our full plank, core glutes engaged. Make sure again the glutes are not high, the hips are not like this. You're in one line, engaging everything. Inhale deep, exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to plank. 2 more. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Last one. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Great. Slowly drop the knees and sit down. Take a moment here. Breathe. Very good. Great. And to conclude here, before moving into a more wind down section of the class, we're going to work a little bit more heavily onto the legs, okay? Very important part here is that the legs can move both together and individually, okay? So again, we're going to move into a plank position, but on our forearms, and we're going to try to focus on one-legged lift with a little bit of movement onto that lifted leg to make sure we're building both strength on our upper body and on our lower body. So when you're ready, we're going to try to come into our forearm plank. We're going to lift one foot off the floor, take a deep inhale, And exhale, try send the knee towards the chest. If it's about to touch the floor, just keep it slightly high. If you can bring it closer to the chest, that's good, but not necessary. Really push onto the floor to lift the upper back. Knee towards chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees and take a breath. Beautiful. If you feel this is too hard, maybe you don't have enough space for the knees to go closer to you, you can also place a couple of books or blocks that will give you more leverage the higher you are. Okay, I'm going to show you like this. So moving on to the second leg, coming into our forearm plank. You can also try look at your knee, so maybe that helps you. Lift the left foot off the floor or the opposite foot of the floor and send the knee to the chest. We hold, we breathe. Slow and deep breath here. Keep pushing down through the arms. Knee closer and closer to the chest. 2, 1. Slowly take a moment. Drop the knees. Relax. Great. We'll do 2 more like this, so 1 on each side. Okay, when you're ready, place your arms. Extend into your forearm plank. Lift 1 foot off the floor. First foot, bring the knee to the chest. Hold. 5. Keep breathing slowly through the belly and the nose. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back. Drop the knees. And breathe. Relax. Great. Perfect. Moving on to our last round. Great. When you're ready. Coming onto the forearms. If you feel you want to do it without the blocks, that's also an option. Come onto your forearm plank. Leave the opposite foot off the ground. Deep inhale, exhale, knee towards chest as close as you can. Protract shoulders, so push onto the floor. We hold for the last 5. Good. 4. Great. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Drop down. Sit down onto the floor. Extend the legs forward. Shake the legs up and down, side to side, to release some tension on the legs. And when you're ready, we're going to try to either go into a forward fold, grabbing the feet. You can also bend your knees if you are not able to reach, and try to grab the feet from here and relax into your forward fold. If you can extend the legs, then feel free to do so. And we allow gravity here to do the work, dropping our upper body down, relaxing everything. Slowly, when you're ready, come back to your seated position. Bend your right knee and send the foot outside of the opposite leg. Squeeze the knee to the chest. If this feels comfortable, try going to a twist. We send the right hand back behind us onto the floor. We can either stay here, grabbing with the left arm the right leg, looking back to the right shoulder, or you can try to place the left elbow outside of the right knee to find a deeper twist. Slow breaths. Slowly look forward, release, and switch to the other side. Great. Slowly, when you're ready, release. Come into your seated position and relax. Thank you so much for practicing today. I hope you enjoy the session. Remember, if you enjoy the class, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment which was the part of the session that you'd like the most, and also if there is any other practice that you'd like to see in the channel, write it down in the comments so I can create the class for you. So this practice, this strength practice, is perfect for you to build up towards any other yoga class. And I would recommend, if you're just starting out, to practice this particular class about 2-3 times per week if your goal is to build more strength, and you can combine this class with other classes in this channel, in this space, for you to build both strength and flexibility. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you on the next one. Namaste.